Hello again, class of 2022. Thanks for hanging out with me while we continue to explore the many ways that osmosis can help us be successful medical students. This is the third video in the series, so if you're confused about what I'm talking about, please go back and watch Intro to Osmosis and class documents. This video will continue to explore the materials and content that osmosis provides us separately from our institutional documents. In the last video, we talked about how osmosis analyzes our documents for us and suggests videos, flashcards, questions, and links to other resources to help us better understand the concepts we are learning. That is by far the most important way that we'll use osmosis content in the first year of medical school, because your primary objective is to do well in all of your coursework. When you start moving towards dedicated board review, you might want to review osmosis content independently of whatever classwork you're doing at the moment, and that's when knowing how osmosis is set up will be very helpful to you. So let's start on the home page of osmosis. In the intro video, I pointed out the osmosis library here on the left-hand side. I'm going to move myself over. There we go. Here on the left-hand side. This houses all of osmosis's concept maps, videos, board review questions, flashcards, and links to other resources. As you can see, all of these resources are organized by system and/or medical specialty. For the sake of consistency, since I was using the micro and immuno materials in the previous video, I'm going to use the immunology library page to demonstrate some features here. So that's this one. So now we have a drop-down menu of all of the options available, and we're going to click on the resource map, which is the first option. As you can see, the resource map is divided, move myself back over. The resource map is divided into pathology, here in blue, physiology, in red, and pharmacology, in yellow. Since you guys are just embarking on your studies of the immune system, let's scroll to physiology and take a look at what osmosis has on the physiology of the immune system. You can see I can hide the concepts that I don't want to see by clicking on this little caret over there. All right, there's two concepts under the immune system. There's introduction to the immune system and vaccines. And since we know nothing, we're going to go to the intro to the immune system. And I'm going to click right here. And as you can see, it's going to take us to this resource page where we can see all of the information available that relates to the introduction to the immune system. So as we can see, we have a video that we could watch. We have 11 flashcards that we could take, and we also have a recommendation for what to watch next here. And then if we scroll down, we can see a summary of what the intro to the immune system is all about. Again, we see our 11 flashcards. We see a link to a memory anchor provided by Picmonic, which is a resource that you can purchase separately from osmosis. We see an opportunity to search our documents for concepts related to the intro to the immune system. And we also see this other resources tab, which points out where in first aid we can find related concepts. And so that's really useful, especially when you're studying for the boards, because first aid is a huge book and it's so nice just to know exactly where to look. Okay, back here on our concept map, right where we just were on the introduction to the immune system, we'll notice that right where we just clicked to bring up that other resources page, there's two small icons. This first one looks just like our library icon. It's the O with the bars around the side. And that's indicating that there's an osmosis video related to this topic. This one that looks like an I indicates that there's a Picmonic related to this. And that's the one I pointed out that when we were looking at the Introduction to the Immune System resource page. Picmonic is a visual memory anchor that you can use separately from osmosis to augment your studying. Like I said, you can purchase it separately from osmosis. And my class actually contacted them and got a group rate. So if building memory palaces helps you to study, you might want to consider adding Picmonic to your resources. There's one other resource that also shows up on the concept maps, and that's Sketchy, Sketchy Medical. And that's another visual learning resource, and they have videos and pictures for microbiology, pharmacology, and pathology. So nearly everyone in my class tried Sketchy at some point. It's really helpful, especially if you're a visual learner, but even if you're not. And as you could see from the icons, the intro to the immune system does not have a corresponding Sketchy video, but if it did, you would see the Sketchy symbol, which is this little googly thing right next to the place where the intro to the immune system was. All right, So now we're back at the top of the concept map. I'm going to collapse some of these things. As you can see, no Sketchy right there, just the Osmosis video and the Picmonic. We can also filter the map so that we only see the ones that are associated with Osmosis videos, or only see the ones that have Sketchy, or only see the ones that have Picmonic. So right now all three of them are enabled, so I'm just going to click on these and get rid of all of the ones that don't have Osmosis videos. So now if I uncollapse these, you'll see the only icon that's showing up is Osmosis video icon. So that's one way that you can organize your studying. All right, let's look back at what's available in our library. In addition to the resource map, we can see that there's a tab for videos, for flashcards, for step 1 questions, and for step 2 questions. So maybe I don't want to see the whole concept map. Maybe that's really overwhelming. So I can just click on these 27 videos, maybe. And again, as you can see, it's organized in the same way. So all of the pathology videos are in a playlist here, and all of the, a couple of playlists, I should say, and all of the physiology is arranged in the same way that it was in the concept map, but now instead of seeing all of the resources, you only see the videos. Imagine that we get all the way to the end of host defense and host response, and we've learned all there is to know about immunology, which is possible because Dr. Richards is an amazing teacher, although she has a PhD, so I'm guessing we're not going to learn as much as she knows. So you're all the way through the course, you're getting ready to take the test, and you want to review all of your knowledge. So you could go and click here and see all of the flashcards available. Whoa. All of the flashcards available for immunology. So once again, the flashcard page is arranged exactly the same way as the concept map and the videos were. So you have your pathology categories, your physiology categories, and your pharmacology categories. And these bars here show my progress. So for a lot of these, I haven't done any of the cards because I really didn't actually start using Osmosis until after we got through microimmuno. And now I'm kind of sad about that because this looks like I didn't do anything, but I did. All right, so let's click on the pharmacology deck here really quickly. And I just hit start. Maybe it'll go. There we go. And I'm just going to hit start quiz and do these 24, I should say, new cards that I've never looked at before. So here's the first question. Blank is an immunosuppressant that inhibits calcineurin, but does not cause hirsutism or gingival hyperplasia, and I have no clue. So I guess I have to review. Tacrolimus, of course. That's okay, didn't know it. Osmosis will give me this question again in 10 minutes because I had no clue and I clicked no clue. But actually that brings me to an important point. I mentioned before that flashcards are good for spaced repetition. Osmosis is a built-in algorithm for how frequently you should review a concept based on how confident you are in your knowledge, but you can modify it if you want. And I know that sometimes people who are familiar with the program Anki often like a quicker turnaround on their cards. So if I wanted to change Osmosis's algorithm to make it more Anki-esque, I can hit this little gear, either one of these gears actually, and it brings up this box where I have options about how the algorithm works. So to do a more Anki-paced repetition, I would change the I'm feeling lucky to repeat after 10 minutes, and I would change the no clue to repeat after 1 minute. And then I'd probably just leave these the same because when you get them correct, you don't want to do them again after 10 minutes necessarily, but you could change those too. So it gives you a different option for when you get it correct and a different option for when you get it incorrect. And you can hit apply. Okay, so now under those settings, since I missed that one, I could get it again in 1 minute. So if I do another one, I'm not going to read the question. Okay, say I missed it. Now, as you can see, if I said I got it, I'd do it again in a day, and if I missed it, I could do it again in 10 minutes. I do want to say I've never felt the need to mess with Osmosis's algorithm because I think that their algorithm is pretty effective, and you really don't ever have to touch these settings if you don't want to. I just wanted to make sure you were aware that they're there. So one last point on a flashcard quiz like this. If you're really struggling with a concept, you can flag it as priority for daily repetition, and that's this little flag right here. All you have to do is hit it, and then this is priority. You can also not repeat it by hitting this question, and then that will not bring this card back into your repetitions. Or you can set a custom repeat time. So if you want this one specifically to come up in 18 hours instead of 24, I have no idea why you'd want that, but it just as an example, you hit this little time thing. I don't know what it is. Anyways. Okay. That's it. Let's go to step 1 questions. So you can use the board style questions in the library in much the same way. And again, you can see they're organized exactly as they are in the resource map. There's the pathology and the physiology, and I guess there's no farm questions. So there's just these 3 categories for board style questions in immunology. Finally, let's go back to our resource map one more time. I just want to remind you that if you click on one of these concepts, let's select Intro to the Immune System again. Oh, this time it took me all the way there. Great. That's what I was expecting the first time. If you click on one of these concepts, you can search your team workspace for documents that are relevant to the concept. And this becomes really helpful when you're studying for a summative and you've had about 15 cases straight and you can't remember which one of them talked about T-cell proliferation in detail. Searching your documents brings up a timeline and shows where this concept was discussed in different documents, hopefully. There we go. All right, oh, that is last year. Let's search this year. There we go, and as you can see, in fact, this is your pre-matriculation materials written by Dr. Richards, and down at the bottom here, you can see which pages this concept is relevant to. So this becomes an incredibly helpful tool for figuring out exactly where you need to be looking for the thing that you want to study. All right, that's about all I have to say about Osmosis provided content that comes with your Osmosis Prime subscription. I'll have one more video exploring some of the board review resources that are available through Osmosis, such as the study schedule and the quiz builder, but I think we've covered the main things that you're going to need to be studying this year. The last thing I want to say about this is that if it hasn't been clear already, Osmosis is designed to be an integrative space where everything comes together. Osmosis materials and class documents, flashcards and questions, all complementing each other so that everyone can learn in the way that will serve them best. I hope that Osmosis can help you so that if you're struggling to learn a concept from the biochem notes, for example, you can check out the Osmosis video for it and then quiz yourself using a pre-made card or cards that your classmate who's a biochemistry whiz made for the class to use. By now, if you've watched these first 3 videos, you have all the tools you need to start using Osmosis to study. The next video will be super short and will demonstrate how to find your pre-matriculation quizzes. The 5th video will cover the process of making good flashcards and questions, and the final video will cover some of the Osmosis features that are great for board review and long-term use. Thank you so much for listening, and I'm really glad this video was shorter than the last one, and I'll see you in the next video.